Well guys, it is December. We're only a couple of weeks away from Christmas time. I've ducked into Tucker World here in Wagga to do a bit of a restock. Stocking up on some hard bodies for the impoundments and some spinnerbaits, and also a couple of spinnerbaits for the rivers and things like that. So river conditions have been a little bit up and down. Actually, they've been up as an overall rule. The rivers are up, they're high, they're dirty, they're flowing really fast, so they're going to be a little bit tough. You can still fish them, so concentrating on those slightly slower pockets of water is going to be key. Those fish are not going to be sitting out in the main flow of the river. They're going to tuck back a little bit into that slightly slower water. So fishing those slightly slower pockets is going to be key to trying to get onto a fish. It is really ripping through. They're cooling for a lot of irrigation water downstream, and so they're releasing a lot of water out of both flowering and barrenjock. One of my go-tos is a spinnerbait. They can be fished in those slower pockets, let them flutter through there. White's probably one of my favourites. If you want something a little bit brighter in that dirty water, something like that's a colour 51. Willow blades or Colorado blades. The willow blades will help you get down a little bit deeper, depending on what the fish are doing. The fish will sometimes sit quite high in the water column when it is really dirty, because obviously the water clears from the top down. So keep an open mind when you're out there on the rivers. But yeah, the mudgut spinnerbaits, probably the most versatile thing if you're casting from the bank. Really good option to go and throw those around. Obviously you can go and fish bait, shrimp, worms, cheese, things like that. I'm going to get onto a cod. What is fishing really well is our local dams, our local impoundments. So barrenjock, flowering, wangler, all fishing incredibly well. A lot of good quality cod coming out of them. Chatterbaits, hard bodies, big spinnerbaits, things like that. So one of my favourite things to do in summertime is actually trial a big spinnerbait. That there is a 1.5 ounce big guts from Mudgut spinnerbait. One of my go-tos, I will sometimes trick out the tail and put a paddle tail on there. Cast soft plastics make a really good trailer. So you just pull that one there off. Take the little stopper off that hook, take that hook out of there, pin him on, and re-rig it back through again with that stinger hook back at the back. I love trolling big spinnerbaits through the summertime. I'm not talking about particularly targeting big fish. I'm happy to catch anything, 50, 60, 70, 80 centimetres. I have caught them right up to about mid-80s, trolling spinnerbaits in places like flowering and barrenjock. So that's a pretty cruisy way to do it if you've got kids in the boat, or if you just want to kick back and it's hot, it's hot summertime. Get out there in the early mornings or late afternoons, troll them in say 4 to 6 metres of water, and you're a pretty good chance of coming across a fish. Really easy option to troll a hard body. Obviously when you stop the boat they will float. If they get jammed into a log, you can actually just stop the momentum of the boat going forward, and quite often they'll just float out on their own. So they're really easy to fish. You don't have to worry about the spinnerbaits that sink down and crash into the bottom. The guys have got a really good range, so they've got the 25 foot and the 10 foot bibs in the 100mm up on the shelf there. Really good range of different colours in those ones. The other ones is your ACs. Now they're a really good river option, as well as in the impoundment, so a good all-rounder. That is the 90mm, really easy lure to fish. You don't need special sort of gear to throw them. Excuse the door buzzer, it's nice and busy, plenty of customers coming in. And they've got the new Aurora range in the ACs as well. There's some really cool colours in those. That's another 90mm there. That one is definitely going home with me. And if you want to target those bigger fish, they do have the 120s and the 150s up on the shelf as well. They take a little bit more say effort to troll, I suppose. You're going to need a slightly heavier rod to troll those bigger, deeper diving hard bodies. So it's got a massive bib on that one, 40 feet plus, so it's going to really dive down, which is, if you're fishing through the middle of the day, the fish are getting nice and deep, you're probably going to need something like that to get you down there to them. So that's that one there. Well, I've actually had to relocate to a different part of the store. I'm actually in the Weber barbecue section now, so I do apologise. The audio is probably echoing a little bit, but you can probably still hear at the front the buzzer is absolutely ringing. The Yeti gear at the back of the store is really popular. Back to the fishing. So for me, if you're heading out to any of the local impoundments, it's pretty hard to go past a big chunky spinnerbait. Like I said, that's the 1.5 big guts from Mudguts. I have pimp that out with a paddle tail plastic on there now, as you can see. Really good option to troll, really good option to cast as well. Very, very effective. Summertime, the fish are fired up. They like that bit of a reaction bite, they like a bit of flash. Also that big paddle tail, which also helps to draw them out. Rocky banks in Blowering have been fishing reasonably well. Barrenjock, Rocky banks have been fishing really well. Not so much the really steep stuff, the slightly more gradual rock walls. And of course, if you want to have a troll, trolling along a big 100mm orgy plough is going to be really, really good. It's a lure that will catch fish of all sizes, so heading up to the dams, grab yourself a spinnerbait, grab yourself a big hard body and go and catch some cod. Of course the yellow belly in the dams are also fishing quite well. They're starting to push a little bit deeper, so you'll have to sort of fish the morning and the afternoon periods a little bit more, sort of concentrating on those times. You can still catch them during the day fishing vertical on the trees. In places like Barrenjock, there's still some pretty good numbers there. If the rivers are more your style, it's hard to get past something like that. 90mm AC Invader, it's going to catch plenty of cod. It's also going to pin the odd yellow as well. Really, really good. Nice big bib. They dive down really deep. Hit a snag, don't just jam it into it. Just let it roll off. It'll float back out and you'll be able to roll him through. And the other one, of course, is that one there is the 1 ounce spinnerbait from Mudguts. If you're looking to get a little bit deeper in that dirty, fast water, the 1 ounce is probably a good option. And a willow blade is probably a good one as well to put on that. But just be careful, those fish can sometimes be quite high when the river is dirty, and just concentrate on those slower pockets. Summer is a really fun time to fish, and of course there is a heap of other gear on the shelf here, so make sure you pop in and check it out. Enjoy your family time on the water, and have a Merry Christmas.